What's up, everybody, and welcome to Around the Monitor for the week of September 25th. I'm your host, Zach, and this is the only gaming news talk show where every point you make in the discussion is a point towards winning. One of these days, I'm going to get comfortable saying my own name like a real person. Joining us, as always, we've got world's #1 Psychonauts fan, David.
I got a new chair this week. It's really comfy. I'm good with this.
Oh, nice. We've got the Ace Attorney, Pridge.
About 8 hours until League of Legends Worlds 2020 starts. Let's go!
And last but not least, we've got the hockey sticks and sickle himself, Ian.
The Ottomans will rise again.
Will they, though? Will they? If this is your first time watching the show, we are a gaming news talk show. Basically, we talk through the week's news in gaming, but we gamify it because games, that's the only thing we know. Whoever ends up with the most points at the end of the show gets crowned the winner of the week, and they talk about whatever they like for a minute. But we always start the show with a trivia question to determine the order. And this week's trivia question is, as relating to one of the news topics we will talk about shortly, Metal Gear Solid, a pretty prolific franchise in not only Sony history, but Konami's history. I mean, pretty much a non-existent games company at this point, but a rather large and important franchise in the history of gaming. My question to you all is, what are the lifetime sales across all of the Metal Gear Solid games? How many copies is what I'm asking.
Ooh, okay.
And this does include like Peace Walker. It does include, I think, Metal Gear Acid, whatever the hell the names of the PSP
It's
ones.
the like spin-off mobile games and remasters and collections and all that.
Yeah, it does have to be Metal Gear Solid, so it's not the old like Metal Gear X or whatever those games are, but yeah.
Right. I feel like they have a big cultural like impact, but I don't know many people who have actually played them.
All right, I'll go first. 32 million.
32 million. Solid.
20 million.
20 million. Pridge going
I'll
low.
go high and go with 40 million.
40 million. The correct answer is 49.2 million copies sold.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
So pretty, I mean, again, it does have 9 games. This is a fairly prolific. I'm curious to see, I don't know the actual numbers of each game. I would love to know how much Metal Gear Solid 5 sold as compared to
I'm pretty sure 5 wrecked all the other ones.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's by far the most selling, but like by how much is a good question. Anyways, that means our order is Ian, followed by David, followed by Pridge. Let's go over the topics for this week's show. We've got, holy moly, Microsoft just bought Bethesda for $7.5 billion. Well, ZeniMax Media technically, but they kiss my butt. It's Bethesda. That's all we care about. We're gamers. Among Us creators reveal they are canceling a sequel to improve the current game after it suddenly becomes hugely popular a few years after it is on the market. Former Blizzard devs found Dreamhaven, a new gaming production company, and 2 new studios. Look forward to some stuff from them. Rocket League goes free to play this week and has a crossover event with Fortnite. You can actually get the Fortnite bus as a car, and there's lots of other cool things that I think could be an interesting topic to talk about. We might be seeing some remakes of the Metal Gear Solid games, as hinted by, I think it was a ratings board in Thailand, something like that. Some crazy small ratings board.
I thought this one was a YouTube leak.
Well, hey, you know what? Maybe you read the article and I didn't. So it looks like a new Nier game isn't so far away. Yeah, I wrote that one. Get at me.
It's very near. Yeah.
Sega seems to be trying to make a Yakuza movie. RuneScape is coming to Steam. Oh boy. Michel Ancel, the creator of Rayman and BG&E, quits the video games industry. David, how do you feel? Just gut check right now.
I'm real concerned, Zach. I'm extremely concerned about how that game, the games he was working on, are going to come out.
Yep. And last but not least, this is the breaking news of the day. And the title of the stream, Amazon is entering the game streaming market, surprising the world. They announced their own service, Luna, coming, I believe, very soon. Ian.
Yeah.
What would you like to start us off with for this week's show?
I think if I'm going first, I have to talk about at least one of the two huge ones. Let's talk about Microsoft and ZeniMax.
Heck yeah.
Or Bethesda, whatever you want to say. ZeniMax is basically just Bethesda needed a parent company to keep alive, so they made one. Like, that's the actual story. Yes, $7.5 billion for Microsoft to acquire ZeniMax. ZeniMax is Bethesda, but I'm not sure exactly the structure, if it's Bethesda that owns them or ZeniMax that owns them, but that's not just the Elder Scrolls series, but ZeniMax is also Elder Scrolls Online, and then it's also things like Arcane with Dishonored and Prey, and Deathloop now, id with Doom, Machine Games with fucking
Wolfenstein.
The Wolfenstein series, the Evil Within people too. I'm forgetting who they are, but
Tango Gameworks.
Yeah, Tango Gameworks. Thank you, David. Yeah, so this is a fucking huge acquisition. The biggest acquisition ever at $7.5 billion. And why did this happen? Because Xbox needs exclusives for their next gen, and because Game Pass. I think this is going to happen a lot more, especially with Xbox, maybe with Sony as well. That Xbox is just going to buy people or buy companies so that they can get Game Pass. We're going to get Elder Scrolls 6 on Game Pass, probably. We're going to get everything, pretty much everything that ZeniMax has coming out on Game Pass for the foreseeable future, which is a huge get for that service. And that's not only is that, this is going to pay for itself in time. It's going to take a long time because $7.5 billion. But, if Starfield sells well, if Elder Scrolls 6 sells well, if, whatever the next Doom or
if
game
if Elder Scrolls 6 sells well, he says.
Yeah, no, Elder Scrolls 6 is going to sell well. Starfield is probably going to sell well. This will pay itself off in probably 10 or 15 years, which even less if everything goes well. But that's not the only thing, is that now you also have more people are going to start flocking to, or maybe not flocking, but more people are going to come to the new Xboxes, because that's how they're going to get their new Nintendo or their new Bethesda games. And because if this is a trend that continues, if Microsoft keeps buying like new companies, then we're going to see Game Pass just grow and grow and grow. And hopefully they can they can actually survive off that. But
I mean, there was another report this week that said they more than, what is it? They got 5 million more Game Pass subscribers in the last few months, which is substantial. I mean, again, it's basically you're getting $5 to $10 a month from all these people, but still, that's if assuming that these people don't turn off that subscription, which I think most of them are not, that's just going to keep growing. My question to you: $10
a month from like millions of people is from everyone who gets the new Xboxes, like
My question to you, Ian, and actually I'd like to go kind of around, is do you think that Xbox will leverage this as, okay, all games coming from Bethesda are Xbox exclusives now? Or for full transparency, Phil Spencer this week did say it's going to be on a case-by-case basis, but do you think that means Elder Scrolls is going to be Xbox only? Do you think that means, Arcane's next game is going to be Xbox only? Like depending on the level of, hey, this one's going to sell $1 bajillion everywhere, so let's just put it everywhere and we'll make the money no matter what. Or will it be, okay, here's the next Wolfenstein game that doesn't sell nearly as well as Elder Scrolls, so that's going to be our exclusive from them?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm thinking, is definitely all of the like not Bethesda stuff, the Arcane, the Wolfenstein, the whatever, maybe the ids, the Dooms, almost definitely going to be, Microsoft exclusives. The Bethesda stuff, the Bethesda game studios, I'm honestly really split on, because those make so much money that it may or may not be better for them to put it on PlayStation.
Yeah,
I'd like to hear everyone else's thoughts too.
Yeah,
my bet is that they will initially make the next 1 or 2 games exclusive and see how it goes. And if they're not getting the numbers they want coming to Game Pass, then at that point they'll be like, okay, you know what, we'll put a game on PlayStation, it'll cost $70, or you can buy a Game Pass and get it on launch day. So that's my assumption of what they'll do, and they'll also probably port some random shit to Switch, but that doesn't really count.
That doesn't count.
I didn't even think about that.
Well,
yeah,
for the purpose of what they were saying in that interview, I don't think that, like, Doom is still gonna get ported to Switch for some reason. But like, I don't think they're gonna port giant open world Fallout 5 to Switch.
No.
I just don't think it's gonna run it. But
what
and like Xbox
though?
has let other titles get put over, like Ori's over there now.
What about PlayStation though?
I don't think they're gonna do PlayStation unless they get really bad numbers from their first couple tries on Game Pass, because they want money, so they're gonna try to get people to get on Game Pass, and if that doesn't work, they're gonna be like, well, there still be money in them hills, so let's go in them hills.
Let's get
to them hills. I don't really have anything to say about it, but they will be honoring the exclusivity deal of Deathloop, which means Xbox is publishing PlayStation exclusive games.
Yeah.
And again, that's most certainly to just do with prior contract agreements.
Oh, of course, but it is funny.
That's not something they want to do.
I'm sure. They have to do. Yeah, I'm sure they would love to scalp these exclusives from the PlayStation 5's launch. But
a thing to point out too is I don't think the deal actually finalizes until the end of the fiscal year. So like they're still separate until like March, end of March.
Yeah, it's I'm very excited to see how this shakes out. Either way, I'm going to play most of these games on PC, so it doesn't really affect me, but it's cool.
I agree with that statement.
It's a very ballsy move by them, and I'm excited to see how this does or does not pan out. I assume it will very much pan out for them, but
yeah.
That's all I got. David, what would you like to talk about for your next topic?
As the resident techie and streaming and VR person, I feel like I got to talk about me some Luna.
Tell us about Amazon showing up, streaming games.
So, unsurprisingly, Amazon has a streaming game service, although it was announced kind of surprisingly. The announcement came out of the blue, but I'm pretty sure there have been rumors about this since before Stadia came out.
Yeah.
So yeah, Amazon has a streaming service. At day one, it already has 20 more games than Stadia, so fucking rest in peace, Stadia. You're dead. Like, if you're already dead, you're dead now. If you were already dead, Luna's and Amazon are just standing over your horse body, beating it with a stick. Like,
your horse body?
Beating a dead horse.
No, I get it, but just saying that they have a horse, Stadia is a horse body is just somehow funny to me.
So what's actually really interesting about the Amazon launch is, one, the devices that it's on. So you get PC, Mac, Fire TV. None of those are surprising. Surprising is that it's going to be on iOS devices, iPad, iPhone, and Android devices later. They're getting around the Apple Store by having it be a web app, so they're not using Apple Store, they're not using Apple Pay. They already do this with I think Kindle and their comic app. I think both of them make you actually buy in a web browser and not in the App Store. So it's gonna be $6 a month during early access, which they have specified, unlike Stadia, that this is an early access program and might not be the best experience at the beginning, but they already have 20 more games in Stadia, so it's already better. It's like $6. It looks like they're going to be doing channels as their way to distribute games. So the $6 a month channel is like the Luna Plus, so the Amazon, think Amazon Prime except gaming. That's going to be their channel. Has mostly games from 2019 and earlier, nothing really new yet. And they say they're going to add more. Cool thing, I don't want to say cool. Interesting thing, Ubisoft is going to have their own channel that will have like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry 6, Immortals, it's Gods and Monsters. Fuck.
Yeah.
It's Johnny Monster. What do you want from me?
It's Gods and Monsters. But yeah, they'll have their own channel, which will cost its own price, separate from the Amazon channel. So that's a little weird. We'll see what the pricing is like. And it also seems like they have ways to monitor how many hours you've been playing as a billable way to change. Sorry, not billable. As a way to change how you're billed and how much access you get.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if they have like a really light free version that's like, oh, you get 2 hours a week or an hour a day or something like that for free. I think that'll be cool. One of the really cool things before I totally go too far over, they're building this is a very techie thing, they're building this on Windows servers. They're not doing this on Linux servers like Stadia is, which means it's hella easier to port your games to Luna than it is to port them to Stadia, because it's a pain in the balls to get a game to work on Linux if you don't build it that way, and it's not hard to get a game to work on a server if it already on a Windows server if it already works on a Windows PC. So they'll get more games than Stadia, as if Stadia is not already dead.
Straight up, I had no idea that Google Stadia was running on Linux servers, so that's wild.
It is, because that's free. They don't have to pay anyone money for Linux. Windows servers cost money.
Got him.
It's almost like cutting corners on a streaming service is a bad idea.
Nah.
I mean, a lot of places use Windows. It's really more that it's games and you're streaming games, and most games are not made for Linux boxes. That's really just how it is.
Linux is like the premier operating system for most servers. It's just this specific case is.
I mean,
it adds a lot of dev time.
I mean, hey, if only Google had more money they could throw into this, program.
we all know Google's so strapped for
financially right now.
Yeah, maybe someday when Google finally makes it into a big company, they can pay for better servers.
They're what, like number 3 in the world?
Yeah. Bridge, are you going to dunk on somebody now, or are you just going to give us the straight?
No. I'm actually gonna laugh at a very an article that out of context sounds really weird, but is actually just a good thing.
Okay.
And I'm gonna talk about how tragically Among Us 2 is canceled. but triumphantly, it's because they're just going to work on the game that currently exists.
Yep.
So for those who don't know, Among Us is sort of the new hit internet thing. It is I don't know exactly what you want to call it, but a multiplayer spy deduction sort of game. Basically, what are those fun party games?
A hidden roll game.
Yeah, thank you. It's a hit and roll game. And basically what happens is you're a bunch of little people on a spaceship, and one of you is the rest of you are trying to complete tasks to, I believe, repair the spaceship.
Mm-hmm.
And then a certain number of you are imposters who are trying to kill the non-imposters. And then it's all, trying to deduce who the imposters are, calling people sus, making terrible decisions, and getting mad at your friends.
Mm-hmm.
Hit and roll games are great. They're a lot of fun if you have the right group with them.
Absolutely.
But what's funny about Among Us is it came out over 2 years ago. It was initially released on June 15th, 2018. It somehow, in the last month, it's gotten huge. Like, incredibly huge. As of I literally, like, the last month, a ton of people have been playing it. So originally, the creators of this game, I'm trying to think, Inner Sloth, that's what they're called?
I honestly
Inner
couldn't
Sloth.
tell you. So okay,
Yeah. So originally, Inner Sloth was going to make a sequel to the game. But then when everyone started playing the first one, it was like, okay, this wasn't huge before, but now it is. Do we really need to make a sequel? Or do we just take what we were going to put into the sequel and just put it into the first one? And that is what they have decided to do. It's the first game that it's the first game that maybe it was so popular it got its sequel canceled,
Yeah.
which is a really funny thing taken out of context. But really, all it just means that instead of having to buy a new game, they're just gonna take all the planned improvements that would have assumedly been in the second one and just put them in the game you already know, you already own. You're playing it now. Why make you buy something new? So this is very funny. I think this is a smart decision. I think this is the correct decision. No reason to reinvent the wheel if it's working great. And again, and I know this game isn't super expensive, so it's not like anyone paying for a sequel would have been, upset about it. But why even go through the hassle? You got your player base, you're popular, just update the good thing you already got.
Heck yeah. Yeah, I think there was somewhere in, maybe it was that article or another one where like they were getting like 30 or something people buying the game a week, or it was like 30 concurrent players, and then it's like now it's like well into the hundreds of thousands at once.
Yeah, it's really crazy how this came out of nowhere. Everyone would have assumed this is a new release, but no,
exactly.
Shit just came out.
It's like a friggin'.
I mean, not came out 2 years ago.
Yeah, it's like Lizzo's. I mean, Lizzo in general kind of just became popular last year, but all of the songs that people love came out literally, I think, 3 years ago, which is so funny. Like, oh, check out this new person. It's like, well,
not really.
Okay, so Among Us had 388,000 people playing simultaneously on Steam. That doesn't include the phone version.
Gotcha. Wow.
Listen, I just play on BlueStacks.
I don't know what that
is. That's a good point. It's a phone like emulator on your.
Yeah, it's like an
PC.
Android emulator, which means I can play on PC without spending $5.
There you go. That's actually. It's dubious of you, Ian, but good on you.
I'm giving them ad money.
All right, comrade. What would you like to talk about next?
Damn. Both of mine were taken. I mean, I knew Amazon was going to get taken, but
it's a hot topic.
Yeah. I'm going to talk about Dreamhaven. That's what I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. Tell us about this new studio funded by old people.
Yeah. This has happened a couple times.
You can't teach an old studio new trick.
This has happened a couple times in the past year where, I mean, it's kind of how new studios get founded these days. It's just a bunch of people are like, hey, I want more creative freedom in my games. I'm going to go start a new company with beer and hookers.
Is that what they said?
No, so a bunch of Blizzard devs decided that Blizzard sucks. They want to do their own thing. So they're founding a new studio called Dreamhaven. It's founded by a bunch of, especially the Hearthstone team, with a little bit from the Overwatch and WoW teams, I believe. It's led by the former Blizzard executive producer, Jason Chase, including the former Hearthstone director, Ben Thompson. Listen, this is not a huge deal. It's just, I really love to see when small groups of developers are like, hey, we work well together. We want to work well together more, and we don't want to work well together under you. So bye-bye. A similar thing happened. It wasn't one of the news articles, but a bunch of former Lab Zero developers are starting their own, not legally a co-op, but it is a co-op. Actually, technically the largest in the industry. We talked a few months ago about a bunch of Respawn developers leaving to make their own studio. or yeah.
I'm
So
pretty sure they split off.
I'm really excited to see what comes from this. I say that every time there's a new studio, but these are people with a lot of talent who've kind of been stifled by, I mean, we've talked before about Blizzard's business model and just everything that Blizzard does, which for y'all not in the loop, not great. But it's clear that there's so much love and talent and effort that goes into every one of those games. So devoid of at least some of the corporate structure. Obviously, this is still a company. We still exist under capitalism. But I think this could turn out really, really well.
Now, really quick, just to be this guy, how many great Soviet video games do you know of, Ian? Actually, shit, I know where this is gonna go. There's I was like, I said that, and I was like, oh fuck, Tetris is the one.
You just played yourself, dude.
Yeah.
You did just play yourself.
Yeah, it is one of the best video games ever made. Fair. But hey, you know who got it around the rest of the world? Capitalists. Checkmate. Here we go. Yeah, no, this is really cool. I mentioned it in the Discord. One of the things that was very funny to me about this is that the reason Activision exists in the first place is because it was, I think, exactly 4 developers who were working for Atari back in the very early 80s, maybe even late 70s. They were like, hey, we're getting treated like shit. Let's just make our own studio. And then obviously Activision became massively popular and published tons and tons of games.
That's how Respawn came to be too.
Yeah. And now here we are where it's like some people leaving Activision because they hate the way they're being treated by Activision. So, oh well, you either die the hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain, I suppose. David, what would you like to talk about for your second topic?
Are there better, more important industry topics? Yes. But I feel the need to just like pour one out for my man, Michel Ancel.
For a second, I thought you really poured that on your keyboard. I got very scared.
I did spill a little on my desk, but not on my keyboard. But yeah, so Michel Ancel, creator of Rayman, Rabbids, Beyond Good and Evil, a couple other less important things, has quit the games industry. He's retiring and opening up a animal sanctuary near Montpellier, France.
That's a pretty wild departure.
It is wild. So he left being the head of both Beyond Good and Evil 2 and the game Wild. Beyond Good and Evil 2 being made by Ubisoft Montpellier, and Wild being made by his own small studio, the name I'm forgetting, but it was published by Sony. And I am concerned for both of these games. He spent, honestly, like 15 years in and out fighting to get Beyond Good and Evil 2 made. He was like constantly posting to, not constantly, but like giving relatively frequent updates on social media of like, hey, still trying to get this game made, not having any luck, guys. And it seems a good chunk of the way through development he is done. I really hope that the team that's left has the creative drive and wants to make this game be what he wanted it to be and make it real. And God, I fucking hate Ubisoft because I know that's why he left. I just know it in my bones. He left because Ubisoft sucks dick. Go watch our video if you don't know why.
Thank you for the plug.
But like, God, I am so mad. If Beyond Good and Evil 2 is bad, it will automatically be blamed on him leaving. If it's good, it'll be like, oh, it's because he left his creative vision with the team. So, fuck. Wild's probably dead. I can't imagine that game actually being made at this point. Like, it really sounds like his passion was in, his second passion anyway, was in helping wild animals, like, live and have good lives. And that's kind of what that game was. And he's opened up a wild, like, Animal Sanctuary. So like that's dope, but that game's probably dead. So I'm sad.
Well, in the press release that I think Ubisoft put out was like, you know, our hearts and minds go with him, you know, blah blah blah, the normal PR speak, and they were like, we'll give you more announcements on or updates on Beyond Good and Evil and Wild in the coming months. Do you believe that?
I think we'll get more. I mean, we'll get more info. The Beyond Good and Evil 2 team has been pretty outspoken with updates and things. They don't necessarily give like key info, but they do a lot of community updates. So I wouldn't be shocked if we get more information on those. I'm surprised they even mentioned Wild.
Same.
I'm honestly shocked.
I didn't know this game was still happening. Yeah.
Most people forgot that game is quote unquote happening. I think it's dead, but we'll see. I can't. I'm sad. This was either the or the second most look forward to game in my existence.
God.
On this planet Earth that we know and sometimes love, most of the time hate. And it might suck now.
Just to make sure, Michel Ancel was not implicated in the everything that went on Ubisoft, right?
And I have a feeling he had nothing to do with it because they actually had like a goodbye letter.
Right.
That's not something you do for someone that sexually harassed people and got fired.
Right.
So I'm relatively sure he left because he was either fed up or just burnt out.
Oh, no, I'm not saying I'm not asking if he left because of that. I'm just like,
but
in
as far
general.
as I know, he wasn't named.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No. Good.
And hell, he's like the only person there that's made a female starring game in the past 20 years.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something I bring up in the videos. Like, hey, this is one of the only major Ubisoft franchise I can think of that has a uniquely female character.
And even I, a Beyond Good and Evil stan, and I will continue to stand that game for the rest of my existence, would not call that a major Ubisoft franchise.
It's not a major Ubisoft franchise. Let's be clear. Pridge, bring us home. What's the final topic of the week going to be?
All right, we're going to talk about Nier Replicant, but we're also going to laugh at the fact that games published by Square Enix are bad at naming things.
Oh,
that's the first thing I got from this.
It's so bad.
It's actually great. So, quick point. Nier Automata came out in 2017. It's a really great game. It is developed by Platinum, but published by Square Enix. An excellent game. That pretty much everyone would agree with that. It is actually a sequel, which less people knew because the original, if I recall, was not super popular, right?
It was not. No, it was not at all.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. So it is actually a sequel to a 2010 game called just Nier, or in Japan on the 360, it was Nier Gestalt, but on the PlayStation 3, it was an alternate version called Nier Replicant. But in the US, it was just called Nier, which is weird. And all of those are actually just spin-off games to a series called Drakengard, which I also don't think anyone knows anything about.
Nope. Chris,
not on this call.
Chris is the only one who knows about those games.
That sounds about right. And so now, what the actual topic this article is about, though, is that the original Nier, or Nier Gestalt / Nier Replicant, is getting a remake coming out next year for PS4, Windows, and for PS4, PC, and Xbox One, which is actually kind of cool because now that Automata saw all this great success, a remaster of the original is a really good idea because hopefully people are going to see Nier in the title and be much more interested than when the first one came out. But if you're wondering what this one's being called, since the original had 3 names, this one is being called Nier Replicant, version .1.22474487139.
Yep. Yep. It just rolls off the tongue. You have to say, how many digits is that?
Name, you know, oh yeah, Nier Replicant, version 1.22474487139. You know, just why not jam a random ass full of numbers at the end of your name? Square Enix, it's okay to use a normal naming scheme. I promise you. I promise you no one's going to be upset if you name your games normal ass shit like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You will be okay. We don't need math equations and formula numbers in our goddamn game titles.
Listen, Final Fantasy...
Kingdom Hearts teach you nothing. Why does this game have so many numbers?
What about, though, the deluxe edition, which is called Nier Replicant version 1.22474487139, the Snow or White Snow edition?
Yeah, but I didn't even know that. Oh yeah, that is your article. What the fuck, Square Enix?
White Snow edition. There we go. Okay. I think somebody at Square Enix has been hitting the white snow, if you know what I mean. A little.
It would be so much better if like the deluxe edition was the same thing, but one number in the version was off. Like it was like 1.2257 instead of 47, and just
what if
everyone confused and upset, even more confused and upset than they probably are now?
This actually would have been really cool. What if each individual package was a different number?
Oh,
see, that would be cool, but that's probably not what they're doing.
Please don't get Square Enix ideas.
It would be a nightmare to mass print those, but damn, it would be kind of cool.
No, just imagine the next Kingdom Hearts Switch game. It'll be Kingdom Hearts 767 over 3 days, but the numbers will change for each copy of the game.
Well, then here's the thing, though. I guarantee you, the copy that is 69 over 420 days will sell for billions of dollars on eBay. Because who wouldn't want that? Thank you for coming to my TED
Talk. You're wrong, but you're not.
I mean, I would buy 5 copies of the game to hope I get that one. There's not even 420 days in a year, but hey. Does it really matter?
Do you think that would really stop Square Enix?
Exactly. Thank you.
No, but you're dividing, so it's 69 divided by 420 days. Easy. That's like a portion of a day.
There we go. But that's going to do it for this show, which means, David and Ian, it's time to go home and become family men, because this week's winner is Pridge.
What? Really?
Yeah, you made me laugh. You made me laugh. You know, that's. You say, damn it?
Yeah.
Did you not want to win?
I wasn't planning on it.
Oh, well. Are you ready for your minute to win it? I mean, you can tell us about B-Stars again. I don't know. Don't tell us about B-Stars again.
So there's this manga. I got a Netflix adaptation.
God damn it.
Okay, no, I know what I'll talk about.
Okay.
Let's do it.
Take it away.
I am going to talk about television, but I'm actually going to not talk about anime. Ooh, Twilight Zone. No, when I was house sitting for my mom last weekend, I got to use their HBO and watch 4 of the first 5 episodes of Lovecraft Country. Check out Lovecraft Country. It's really, really interesting. It is basically an attempt to sort of reclaim the cosmic horror of H.P. Lovecraft, but sort of flip his awful, virulent racism on its head, which is a very ambitious thing to do, because for those who don't know, H.P. Lovecraft was super goddamn racist. So the fact that but admittedly, he was a prolific horror author, at least after he died and people started caring about him. But this is a very interesting, and after 4 episodes, very good and very intense attempt to try and take the good part of his legacy, but completely turn on its head the awful part of his legacy. So you should check it out. Content warning: it is super violent, but I would still recommend checking it out if you can stomach violence and horror, and lots of racism.
Wait, so there's racism in the show?
Oh, it takes place in the 1950s.
Okay,
and
sorry,
the main cast is black, so they are victims of super bad racism.
Gotcha. Makes sense now. As David alluded to, I put up a video essay this week on what's been going on at Ubisoft this year, what they stand accused of for doing over the last several years, basically, which does include racism and sexism and just a lot of terrible workplace culture practices. So please go check that out. The people who are watching it seem to be enjoying it, but it's not getting an incredible amount of views. And that's fine. I guess I didn't really expect it to, because nobody likes when you do videos like that. But hey, I worked hard on it. It took me a long time. It was not fun to work on. Pridge, Ian, David, anything for you guys to plug?
Sure. In the meantime, while waiting for Zach to finish editing that video, you can come watch Around the Controller tomorrow if you're watching live. If you're not watching live, that is September 25th at 4:30 Eastern, or sorry, 4:30 Pacific, 7:30 Eastern. We'll be doing basically roasting each other's top 10 lists of video games, which should be fun. We'll probably fight. It'll be enjoyable for probably everyone but us.
We're gonna have to do the Breath of the Wild conversation on stream, and I just
Oh no.
because it's gonna be in my top 10. I'm pretty sure it's in my top 10. I really gotta.
Will this be the episode where Chris and Zach finally kill each other? Who knows?
I guess I should mention, because he's not here, we have been continuing our actual play Dungeons and Dragons show, Tales from Runeterra. We just recorded the first episode of our second arc in the series. That'll go up next week, but we do have the entirety of the first arc up on our YouTube channel. So if you wanted to get started, catch up, go for it. That being said, I think where we started now is also not a bad point to jump in, because we very quickly recap everything that has happened. and
it is a good jumping in point.
And all of our characters kind of understand who they are 7 episodes in. This has been
Good night, gamers.
Around the Monitor.